Ever wondered how the universe came into existence according to the Bible? Well, let's take a journey back to the very beginning, as told in the book of Genesis. Picture this, a canvas of nothingness, a void. And then, with a mere command, light pierced the darkness. This marked the first day of creation. Over the next 6 days, the skies, lands, seas, and all living creatures were brought into existence. On the sixth day, something special happened. The first humans, Adam and Eve, were created in God's own image. They were given the paradise of Eden to live in, surrounded by the beauty of creation. They were the pinnacle of God's work, his pièce de résistance. The seventh day, a day of rest, concluded this divine creation process. It was a moment of tranquility, a pause to admire the masterpiece which had been crafted. Now, from this peaceful origin, we move on to the first transgression of mankind. What led to the first downfall of humanity, and how did the Great Flood reshape the world? Our tale begins in the Garden of Eden, a paradise where the first humans, Adam and Eve, lived in harmony with nature. Their only restriction was a divine command to not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. However, enticed by the serpent's promise of wisdom and knowledge, they crossed the line and tasted its fruit. This act of disobedience, known as the original sin, led to their expulsion from the garden. The harmony was broken, and they were thrown into a world of hardship and mortality. Life outside Eden was challenging. Adam and Eve's children, Cain and Abel, grew up in this harsh new world. In a fit of jealousy, Cain committed the first murder, further tainting humanity's innocence. As generations passed, the wickedness of man grew, and so did God's disappointment. Seeing the corruption and violence, he decided to cleanse the earth. But there was one man, Noah, who found favor in God's eyes. Noah was righteous and blameless, a beacon of hope in a world gone astray. God instructed Noah to build an ark, a colossal ship, and gather a pair of every living creature. Noah obeyed, and when the ark was ready, he and his family boarded, along with the animals. Then came the Great Flood. Rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights, submerging the earth under a vast ocean. Every living creature outside the ark perished. Once the rain ceased and the waters receded, Noah, his family, and the animals disembarked onto a cleansed world. God made a covenant with Noah, symbolized by a rainbow, promising never to destroy the earth by a flood again. This marked a new beginning for humanity, a chance to start over in a world washed clean of its previous sins. After the flood, humanity had to start over, but the twists and turns didn't stop here. Who were Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and why are they so significant? Well, let's dive right in. These three men, known as the Patriarchs, played a monumental role in shaping the biblical narrative. Abraham, the father of many nations, was promised by God that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. Isaac, his son, was a living example of faith and obedience, even in the face of life-threatening situations. And Jacob, later named Israel, fathered 12 sons, who went on to become the 12 tribes of Israel. Their lives were marked by profound encounters with God, promises of blessings, and enduring faith. These patriarchs, through their actions and experiences, laid the foundation for the nation of Israel and influenced countless future generations. Their significance is not merely historical. Their stories continue to inspire and guide people in their spiritual journeys. Moving forward, the people of Israel found themselves in a land of wonder and hardship, Egypt. How did the Israelites escape the clutches of Pharaoh, and what laws guided them in the wilderness? This brings us to the fascinating tale of Moses and the Exodus from Egypt, a story that has captivated the hearts and minds of generations. Born in a time of great peril, Moses was a Hebrew child raised by the Pharaoh's daughter. Despite his royal upbringing, Moses could not ignore the suffering of his people. After killing an Egyptian taskmaster in defense of a Hebrew slave, Moses fled to the wilderness, where he lived as a shepherd until he encountered a burning bush that was not consumed by the flames. It was here that God spoke to Moses, tasking him with the mission of leading the Israelites out of Egypt. Returning to Egypt, Moses demanded Pharaoh to let his people go. When Pharaoh refused, God unleashed a series of devastating plagues upon Egypt. It was only after the harsh 10th plague, the death of every firstborn Egyptian, that Pharaoh finally relented and released the Israelites. But as they fled, Pharaoh changed his mind and pursued them. Trapped between the approaching Egyptian army and the Red Sea, the Israelites despaired. But Moses, guided by God, parted the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry land. As the Egyptians attempted to follow, the waters closed upon them, drowning the entire army. In the wilderness, the Israelites faced many trials and tribulations. It was during this time that Moses climbed Mount Sinai and received the Ten Commandments, the laws that would guide the Israelites in their relationship with God. These commandments encompassed both religious duties and moral principles, including the well-known directives such as, "You shall have no other gods before me," and "You shall not murder." These commandments became the cornerstone of the Israelite community, guiding their actions and informing their understanding of right and wrong. They were the law of the land, and they helped shape the Israelites into a united people. After wandering in the desert, the Israelites finally reached the Promised Land, but their journey was far from over. How did a carpenter's son become the centerpiece of the New Testament? Let's delve into the remarkable journey that takes us through the life, teachings, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Born in Bethlehem to Mary, a virgin, Jesus was destined for an extraordinary path. His birth, as foretold by prophets, was marked by miraculous signs, including a guiding star. He was the carpenter's son, yes, but also the Son of God, an identity that became evident as he grew and began to display wisdom and knowledge beyond his years. As Jesus matured, he began a public ministry that lasted approximately 3 years. His teachings, centered around love, compassion, and forgiveness, challenged the social norms of his time. He healed the sick, gave sight to the blind, and even raised the dead, all while spreading the message of God's love and redemption. But his revolutionary teachings and actions didn't sit well with everyone. Jesus was eventually betrayed by one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, and was crucified under Pontius Pilate's rule. Yet this was not the end. It was, in fact, a significant part of the divine plan. 3 days after his crucifixion, Jesus Christ rose from the dead, conquering death and sin. This event, known as the resurrection, is a cornerstone of Christian faith, symbolizing hope and eternal life. It was Jesus' ultimate act of love, a testament to his divinity and his mission to save humanity from sin. From the manger in Bethlehem to his ascension into heaven, Jesus' life was a testament of divine love and sacrifice. His teachings have shaped centuries of faith, inspiring millions to lead lives of love, compassion, and forgiveness. The life of Jesus Christ was a turning point in biblical history, but what does the Bible say about the end times? As we continue our journey through the Bible, we'll explore the mysteries of the book of Revelation, where prophecies of the end times lie. What does the Bible predict about the end of the world? Now we dive into the book of Revelation, the final book in the New Testament. This book is filled with prophetic visions that speak of the end times. John, the author, writes of 7 seals being opened, each one revealing events leading to the end of the world. He talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, symbolic of conquest, war, famine, and death. The 7th seal ushers in 7 trumpets, each heralding further disaster. John also describes the rise of the beast, the Antichrist, and the false prophet, all of whom play a role in humanity's final trials. The book concludes with a vision of the ultimate victory of good over evil and the establishment of a new heaven and a new earth. From the creation of the universe to the end of times, the Bible offers a comprehensive narrative. But what are its main teachings? What are the core teachings that the Bible wants us to understand and apply? At the heart of the Bible's teachings, one finds 4 core principles: love, forgiveness, faith, and righteousness. Love, as epitomized by Christ's selfless sacrifice, teaches us to care deeply for one another. It's about extending kindness and compassion, even to those who may be considered our enemies. Next, we have forgiveness, a principle that encourages us to let go of resentment and bitterness. It's about releasing the chains of past hurts and embracing the freedom of reconciliation. Faith, another cornerstone of biblical teaching, inspires us to trust in God's sovereignty and believe in his promises. It's about having confidence in the unseen, holding on to hope in the face of adversity. Lastly, righteousness is about living a life that reflects God's moral standards. It's about striving to do what is right and just, even when it's challenging. In essence, the Bible is a guide to living a fulfilling life, grounded in love, faith, and righteousness. It's a timeless narrative that continues to shape our world today,